I to push that button several times. Shouldn't have said that. Emily Laser Princess, Pink Raccoon. Swear I'm not as horny as I make myself appear. Season 4, Episode 8, Pangs. This is going to probably be another short one. There's very little in terms of notes about it. There's more to note about it that looking through what's coming up, what I'm planning on doing all tonight, I don't remember this one or the next one from the name of the episode at all, but I get to the one after the next one after this, and I'm like, oh yeah, that one. So yeah, that's what these next couple are going to be like. Did people really dress like that? Yellow long sleeves, vest, and khakis. Really? Has anyone ever seen anyone dressed like that walking out on the street? Just curious, no judgment, zero misinformation. I sincerely want to know. Oh no, Angel's back. Ugh. Couldn't show up to prevent the Parker shite. No, he just shows up now for reasons. Anthropology mentioned. Why is Buffy wearing a cowboy hat and talking about village people? It's weird, right? Like the musical references that the people, the characters in the show make outside of like when specific bands are mentioned being at the Bronze. When they make offhand comments about musical acts, it's always like really old stuff that like people that age shouldn't be talking about in that time period. Captain and Tennille, Journey, Elvis, right? I don't know. Maybe I was just way too much of a music snob as a kid. Village People, though. It's the second video in a row that Village People have come up, hasn't it? Because I was making fun of the fact that they're straight now. No misinformation, zero misinformation. They are straight now. God. Oh, this world. This world. This world. White people doing guilt porn. But yes, Willow, your mom is correct for once. Anya is just weird, 1,000 years getting women vengeance on evil men, and yet all she does is lust for self-same evil men, like a mindless Christian woman. It's my opinion. It's my opinion. I don't buy into the Christian obsession with keeping women barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. I'm sorry, I just don't buy into that stuff. Crucify me all you want. Show is oddly ambivalent towards education for one set largely at school. Yeah, yeah. Now I remember this one. This is the really like the that we're gonna listen to Midnight Oil and flagellate ourselves episode, isn't it? With the indigenous spirits coming back to attack them, and most of the cast being at best dismissive of indigenous people in general. Yeah, yeah. More and more feel like it's morally incorrect for me to discuss this episode. It's very patronizing and Libby. Libby as in liberally. Sure, we're all aware of my distaste for wish-washy pseudo-leftist centrists who call themselves liberal and yet still fight for corporate interests. Of course, That's not misinformation. That's my opinion. I am not a fan of our economic system, and I have made that clear. But I'm not misinforming anyone. I'm not saying, you know, you should be a communist, even if, like, that's what I believe. I'm not like out here like, be a communist or I'll shoot the. What are you anyway? Unicorn. Really? Is that what unicorns look like? I mean, I know you got the horn, but we both need to get into shape, buddy. Oh, okay. Sorry, I digress. Of course, Xander cares about all Xander cares about is his hypothetical syphilis. Zero misinformation. Xander is worried about being diseased himself rather than dealing with, the actual situation. Ditto, the British guy wants to ignore the evils of colonialism. Duh. Spike the neutered. He is. He's so neutered by this point with that chip in his head. Need to look into it, but did Chumash do Hopi style makeup? The makeup, and I'm far from an expert, even with all the time that I spent in courses on the subject. I'm not an expert on everything to do with indigenous cultures from an anthropological standpoint. But the makeup the Chumash guys are wearing, assuming they are actually Chumash people, which, given Hollywood's history, probably not, but who knows? Was that accurate to the that culture? Because it looks way more kind of ornamented, I guess, than the stuff that I remember reading about and seeing at like various field trips that would take us in growing up in LA to like all those different missions along the coast where they would refuse to teach you about how horrible the Spanish were to the natives, but they would instead try and act like it was like this mission of generosity by Padre Serra, which don't really think it was. If you're an indigenous person from that culture and you want to abuse me of this notion, by all means. Who? No one watches me. God, I'm losing it here as I near my end. Huss targets authority figures. I say, let it do its work. That is not a political statement. I am not misinforming anyone or making any threats at all. That is a joke that I wrote in these notes about an old TV show about a vampire slaying blonde. Please stop attacking me for talking about this stuff. I am entitled to my political opinions as well. You aren't hurt by having to deal with Huss, Buffy. Stop pretending. Basic point of episode is get over it and keep on oppressing. This is a Buddy Jesus thing. Does anyone like Dogma? I like Dogma. It's one of the few Kevin Smith movies I actually like. Oh, God. So, can Buffy not fight now? Bear was wide open. She just stood there. Can Spike not feed on animals? That's a question that I have for the entire course of the series. Because feeding on animals is a traditional thing that vampires in popular culture do to survive when they need to, right? Like Louis feeds on rats, right? I mean, that's like Lestat makes fun of him for it. Drink the animal blood.